What's going on, folks? Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna teach you the simple way to pair movements. All right, let's get right into it. Simple way to pair movements, you're gonna do a push and a pull, or you can do a push and a bend, pull and a squat, pull and a lunge, or a core and a power movement. Of course, there's many other variations, but let's get right into some of the basics and how I like to pair these movements for not interfering with each other as much as they would if you were performing the same movements, or just the time efficiency here. That's one of the main reasons why we try and pair these movements and to get the most out of the exercises. So you got to push, let's just say a push up, and you got to pull, let's just say a pull up. These two can kind of interfere with each other just because the pull up, you are recruiting some of the pec muscles when you're doing a pull up. So let's just say more of a dumbbell row in a push up, or an inverted row in a push up. It's gonna be less recruitment of those pec muscles than it would be if you were doing some type of pull up. Push and a bend. So you have, let's just say, a dumbbell RDL mixed in with a push-up, or a dumbbell RDL mixed in with a dumbbell bench press. So once again, these two movements don't necessarily interfere with each other. The only thing that you have connecting with the barbell or with the dumbbell is more of a isometric on the back side of the body here. Pull and a squat. So you have, let's just say, a pull-up and a back squat, or a goblet squat, or a dumbbell row and a goblet squat. Now, it's kind of tricky here because same thing with this one. You want to make sure you're not taxing that grip so much when you're pairing the two pull movements with a squatting motion. So let's just say if you're doing a dumbbell reverse lunge and you're also doing a dumbbell row, you're holding dumbbells in your hand by your side for both of those movements. So the grip can get taxed on both of those. So you want to be cautious about pairing those. Maybe you think about that lunge as a goblet position, or maybe it's a back rack position, to not interfere as much with the grip, reducing your ability to get the most out of those exercises. You could also supplement and use straps for the dumbbells if that gets too taxing, but let's just say we still want that full body stimulus. We do want to train the grip, but we also don't want to tax it out. So maybe you just be a little bit more cautious with the type of movements that you're pairing there. Core and a power. I got this one from Coach Mike Bull. Here it's like, let's just say doing a power clean and then taking a rest period, and then you're doing something like a plank with reach, or a weighted plank hold, or a side plank with row, etc., etc. So any type of power movement, kettlebell, plyometrics, the list goes on in pairing those two. It just makes the training session go by a lot faster and more efficiently than if you were waiting like 3 minutes between your sets of power cleans. So that's a quick breakdown of some of my favorite movement pairings and how you can pair your exercises in your training session. And then let's get into the rest periods here. For rest times, you want to think about if you're just doing it for, let's just say, muscle hypertrophy or body compositional changes, you want to think about maybe 1 minute of rest, or even 30 seconds of rest between the two movements. So if you're doing a push-up and you're doing a dumbbell row, after your push-ups, you may rest 1 minute. And then once you go into your pull-ups, you may rest 1 minute after that one, or 30 seconds, depending on what you're trying to get out of it. You can also do it for strength purposes, but once again, you want to make sure that rest period is extended out a little bit more. So the rest period would be more so like, let's just say 2 to 5 minutes before you get back to exercise number one. So maybe 1 minute of rest, or maybe even 2 minutes of rest, or 2.5 minutes of rest between each movement before you go back to each one. So that add up to about 5 minutes of total rest time. So that's some of my favorite movement pairings, things that you can think about when it comes to pairing these specific movements, and then also rest periods in between those movements there. So if you have any other questions about movement pairings, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. See you in the next video.